content warning. On this podcast, we discuss sensitive issues, including, but not limited to, swearing, tasteless jokes, situations of a sexual nature, and drug use. This podcast is not intended for children.
Welcome to Bibliowrecks, where we read the worst stories the world has to offer. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are here with Lily.
Hi.
And Birdie.
Hello.
So we are doing a girls' night romance review, and it is awful.
It is so bad.
And you are going to do a presentation for us.
I am. Are you guys ready to hear about the worst male character you've ever heard?
So yeah, folks, this is a estrogen-ridden ladies' night with lots of giggles and laughs, and we hope you enjoy our Christmas bonus. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. All right, so the book that we're looking into today is called Christmas Kisses for $1. The tagline is, "And worth every penny." It's by the person named Lori Page, which makes me think it might be a pen name of some sort.
There's no way.
It doesn't sound normal.
No.
That sounds like a pen name.
Yeah. To set the scene, basically it's a small town in Texas. Everything has remained the same there for years and years. And we end up going kind of through 2 points of view between the male romantic character and the female. And it starts off with the male character's POV. Basically, he is coming back into town. He hasn't been to town in 13 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he has been making his moves on the world and doing fancy business things that they don't really go into.
So is this the male coming home for Christmas Hallmark thing?
Yes, because first off, his parents died in a flash flood a year ago, so he inherited the family flower farm. Yeah, it's every bit a Hallmark movie. He's like, coming home, I've got the flower farm. And on the first page, I'm so upset, on the first page he calls women shrews.
All women?
All women, because so it's a kissing booth. That's the Christmas Kisses for $1. So he sees a Christmas booth because they're at the town square, they're having a bazaar, a church bazaar. Mm-hmm. And he says, he's talking about the men in line for the kissing booth. He says, all single, he assumed. They didn't have the look of men who were shackled to shrews.
What?
Yeah. No, first thing off the bat, he's just like, women want to marry you and ruin your life.
Okay.
He hates women.
He hates women! Out the gate! But as soon as he sees Anne, because his name is Jonathan Sinclair, as soon as he sees Anne Hayden, our female protagonist here, he is just swept away. And she's the most naturally sensual woman he's ever seen. And everything about her is temptress, essentially.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she exists to be beautiful for him.
It's the sworn bachelor until you meet the right woman.
Exactly. No, that's yeah. He gets in line because his business guy is off at the bazaar, so he has to wait anyway. He's like, I might as well get in line. He gets in line. They're talking about Anne, kind of just her history. Because Jonathan grew up in this town, but apparently doesn't know, anyone in this town. Yeah, who have all been there their whole lives, which is weird.
But he's the main character in this story and in his head.
Yes. Accurate. He's learning about Anne, and apparently she was too good to date anybody in high school, and now she's dating a senator.
Good for her.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
He can see plainly that each person in line before him gets a peck on the cheek, a quick little kiss, as a kissing booth would do. This man still decides, he puts down a $20 bill and says, let me know when I've used this up.
Oh.
Felon.
He sweeps her up in his arms, first meeting her. The first thing he says to her is something about her eyes being violet, which is dumb because he's been watching her for 15 minutes and she's seen him watching her. So he sweeps her up in his arms and then she says don't. In a stern voice says don't, and he immediately kisses her with tongue and she faints.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's like in his arms, and her best friend, he doesn't know this is her best friend yet, but her best friend like basically tells him, take her to her house and lay her down without going with him. I would not trust this man at all, first off. So, yeah, this has all been terrible. Everybody in town wants to beat the guy up.
Yeah.
As they should.
Literally in front of them, he, like, accosted her, and she said no.
Wow.
Yeah, so he takes her into the house, like, lays her down, and he's like, you can stop pretending to faint. And she, in her point of view, we find out she didn't fake the faint, she just faked how long it went because she has a heart murmur. And so getting too excited can sometimes cause her to lose consciousness. So she just kind of went along with the fainting because it would keep him from being beat up, I guess. That's what her line of reasoning is in the book, yeah. Like, that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, so far this is a horror. She fainted, woke up in a house, and then pretended to stop.
And so then he's like, okay, you can stop pretending, and she, like, wakes up, and she's like, cool, that wasn't okay. And he's just like, we're gonna have a relationship. Yeah, who does that? This guy drives me insane. He doesn't learn a damn thing his entire life. So yeah, we move on from that. He has to meet her aunt and uncle. This is all same afternoon. They just, she's like, yeah, we should go outside and make sure everybody knows I'm alive and not brutally raped and murdered. Because, I mean, that's what I would have assumed would have happened with this guy. So they go back outside. He meets her aunt and uncle, who are very, like, prudish. Like, the whole town is pretty straight-laced, as they put it. And the aunt kind of, like, pulls him aside, like, dude, you have to, like, not excite her too much because she has a heart condition. And he's like... And in his mind, he's literally thinking that the aunt is making this up to get him to go away.
What the hell?
Yeah, he's not taking it seriously at all until he talks to Anne about it later.
I hate this guy.
He sucks! He sucks so bad. So basically, it's at this point in the story that we learn that she owns the flower shop in town. And so they're going to have a business relationship no matter what because he now owns the flower farm.
No.
Yeah.
She can't avoid him.
No. It's a small town. She owns the only flower shop, and she runs, like, the affairs committee.
Wait, she would have known his parents.
Yeah. No, it's weird. She only knew his dad.
He went out of his way not to know her.
He knew, like, 2 people in this entire town, but was apparently a wild young man.
Why wouldn't he sell the
more people know that?
business and not go home?
Exactly.
This all makes
No,
no sense at all.
No, this book is not good. That's why we're talking about it.
True, that is our thing.
And so, like, of course they're going to have the business relationship, and it's kind of like, I guess, supposed to be a meet cute.
That was not cute.
That was not cute.
That was a meat bad.
That was a meat ugly, for sure. And at this point, so they're done talking with her aunt and uncle. They've basically expressed, stay away from her, leave her alone. And he says to Anne, you still owe me?
No!
Yes, because he decided that constituted
The
one
20.
kiss, and there are 19 more kisses like that she has to endure.
From the $20 fucking. I would throw the 20 in his face and
I
say,
would
"Get
also
outta
do
here."
that.
Absolutely.
Fuck this dude.
No.
Like, I mean, don't fuck
No.
this dude.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him to fuck off.
And that's supposed to be,
No.
like, romantic, that he's taking charge like this.
No.
Instead, it's... I was telling Bam Bam before this, I like to call this book Red Flags for Christmas. Because that is exactly what we're getting.
Is this communist China?
Oh my gosh. You can't convince me that this is, like, romantic.
No. And then...
No.
And so this is where we talk a little bit about the senator who she's dating.
Wait, she's in a relationship.
She's in a relationship currently.
And so was this a fundraiser? The Kisses for Christmas thing?
She was making money for the church.
Oh my god.
For the schools and the church.
Right.
Yeah.
So this isn't like, oh, I'm free and available.
It wasn't
come
for
kiss me.
funsies, yeah.
This is like a bazaar where we're raising money for a charity cause.
Yep.
Okay.
She was doing a job.
I'm calling shenanigans because no church would approve of a kissing booth.
Literally, one of the lines in here is that the Methodist pastor was the first in line.
Oh, no!
Yeah, that's like...
That's the one exception where they would approve it.
Yeah, apparently they were like... And she made the most money last year.
Yeah.
So it's a yearly thing, yeah, because people want to kiss her so bad because she's like the most beautiful person they've ever seen.
This is disgusting.
It is.
I don't have a problem with sex workers or kissing booths or whatever.
But she was doing a job and they're like...
This town is bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
This is bizarre.
This town, like, I hope to God that this fake town isn't real.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
If the author has any experience from that, like, knows of things that happened like this, that's bizarre.
Yeah. A bizarre. And so, yeah, we go, like, it's a little bit insane. We do talk a little bit about their ages, first up. So she is 25.
All right.
So at least we're starting off not with an 18-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He's 31. They're, like, normal ages.
They're peers.
Yeah.
They're peers age-wise.
Which makes it weirder that they don't know each other.
Yeah.
Or, like, because they both...
They would have been in school at the same time.
Yeah.
Even if they would have been in different grades. That's really weird.
But basically, from Anne's point of view, with the heart condition, she calls it the family curse because her mother died during childbirth.
Oh.
Of, as she explains it, some kind of, like, her heart gave out.
Oh, no.
And she had 2 cousins, because her aunt and uncle raised her, essentially, because her dad goes and works, like, out of town a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And her aunt had 2 kids that didn't make it, like, past a year because they also had some unspecified heart condition.
Oh, wow.
So she's, like, for sure this...
She's actually physically frail.
Yes. And she has been raised that way. Like, she couldn't do sports growing up.
Right.
She couldn't be in relationships because her aunt was so worried that she would just, like, give out and die.
Right.
Yeah.
And if the aunt has lost people close to her due to this, I would absolutely be super overprotective.
Oh, and anxious, and
Yeah, no, she has been, like, super sheltered her whole life.
Right.
And so that is basically, like, an ongoing theme of her aunt is just like, you guys need to calm it down over here.
Yeah.
This isn't cool.
But this is, like, a valid medical reason to do this. This isn't, oh, she has a fainting spell.
Right.
Oh, the humors, you know.
No,
this
she has...
isn't Victorian in a type.
Oh, yeah. I did eye roll before we found that out.
It's a little ridiculous. They even talk about it in the book. They're like, how utterly Victorian. It's like, it's medical. It's
not
medical.
that. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So basically, we're getting them together. They're talking after the aunt and uncle walk away. We know their ages. We know a little bit about them. And that he's been out of town for a while. And then she's dating a senator who's almost 20 years her senior.
Oh, wow.
He has one son that's all the way adult and one that is in high school.
So she's dating a guy who has kids her age.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, but part of the reason behind this, as we kind of like go into it, is that she doesn't want to have children because she is afraid she's going to pass on a heart defect and they'll die.
Right.
So she is like very against like getting married and having children someone her age because she knows like as much as men protest, they want to have kids.
Oh, okay.
Like that has been her experience. And
right.
she is tired of that, so she is against marrying.
Right.
And this guy, also against marrying, but as soon as he hears that she doesn't want to immediately marry him, he's like, why? He's like, oh, okay.
Am I not good enough for you?
No, it's straight up like he wants to be the one refusing people and turning them away and can't stand the thought.
Wait, the senator or this main character?
The main character.
Oh.
The senator is perfectly fine with it because he's like, I've already had my kids. I'm good.
Okay.
They're super chill.
So she's in a relationship with a man who's fine with her being single and child-free.
They're
Not
like
single,
comfortable
but, like,
together. It's not
together
super...
but not married.
I like the senator so far.
Right. Really calm.
Well, and we're remember, she's 25. She's past that age of being really vulnerable. She has her own business. She has her own income. So this isn't a big power dynamic like it would be if she was 18 and he was 45.
And besides getting income from the flower shop, she also gets money from her dad, who puts money aside in an account for her. So she doesn't have to rely on anyone.
So she has a level of independence that allows her to be in this relationship, and it's not risky.
Yes.
And she can walk away.
Yeah. Okay, that's as long as
they don't live together.
As long as we don't find out they got together, they started dating like 6 years ago or something.
Where they like just started.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe like a year, like they're pretty comfortable together, so they've definitely known each other.
Cute.
And we go back to John and Anne's conversation here. So John is the main character in his head as well. And basically he has told her, we're going to have a relationship. She says we don't have one. He says we will. Quotations.
That's a threat.
He is so egotistical and confident that they're going to have a relationship. So he basically says, let's have a date, dinner, my place. And she says, you're going to have to work harder than that. You're going to have to romance me if you want any kind of thing. Because I guess because the whole thing is she's kind of into it, but she's clearly said no.
She needs a big sister.
She needs somebody to, like, stand up for her. Like, the aunt apparently didn't do a good enough job.
Because I was going to ask, what's, like, her inner monologue when he's saying, like, oh, we are going to date? Is she, like,
she's like, oh,
terrified?
He's so cocky. Like, but, like, in, like, oh, that's hot. Like, it's definitely written from somebody who has never had to deal with, like, pushy men who they are afraid will get too pushy, I think.
Is the author a man or a woman?
It's supposed to be a woman.
Okay.
But, again, pen name could be either.
Laurie. Yeah, probably a woman.
But it's very problematically written. When she says that he's going to have to work harder than that, he actually swears because he's like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. She says, if it's too much trouble, and she's like, well, then just don't even do it, dude.
Right.
And he said, I'll walk over coals. I just hoped I wouldn't have to.
Varying levels of ick from that.
Like, what? Like, I'm sorry, this is so much trouble. You're the one who pursued this.
He doesn't even know her. He saw her in a kissing booth.
Decided she was the most beautiful woman and he had to have her. And he
doesn't like
her.
Women. He doesn't like women.
No, women are shrews who want to marry you.
And are we supposed to understand this character's motivation?
Sex.
But he doesn't like women?
No.
He just wants sex.
Yes.
So he sees her and is like, I want sex with her.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Pretty much. He does have, like, a few things where he's just, like, she has this look. He calls her, like, the Venus with the raven hair, like, constantly referring to her in these weird romantic terms when he's talking about her.
So he wants to have sex with a woman that he made up in his head because he doesn't know her.
Yes, he does. He is also told by her aunt that she is a virgin.
That is not her place to say.
It's not. It turns out to be true.
Oh my god. That aunt needs to get out of this girl's bedroom.
Yes. So it's true because she almost got married to somebody in high school or in college, but they didn't get anywhere past, like, fancy kissing.
With their pinkies up.
The fanciest. And it's just crazy. Yeah,
is that what you call French kissing?
I mean, French or fancy, right? Like, that's...
Oh,
baguette.
Oh, no.
It's like you know how, like...
croissant of kissing?
Normal kissing is, like, normal type, and then French kissing is, like, cursive. So it's...
Oh, my God.
That's how that works, right?
It's always going to be fancy kissing from now on.
And we go away from this interaction. Basically, they've decided to have a date. Finally, I guess, to somewhere fancy.
He's bullied her into going on a date.
He has, yeah.
And she's forgetting the fact she has a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend. I guess they're not, it's very confusing, their whole relationship, because it's almost like they don't have a relationship, but they have expressed that they do with the senator. You'll see later on, this book has no real stakes. It's like there aren't real problems. Like, all the problems just disappear once you look at them right.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like
consent. If you
Right.
look at it right, she liked it. So it's fine. Because she loved the kiss.
like in a respectful poly relationship, it would be okay as long as they communicate about it. And she's like, hey, I want to see this guy.
No, it's not that.
Okay, of course. Of course it's not.
Being respectful about this. He does mention that he doesn't want to stay in town and that he's not the marrying type.
So he wants a fling?
Yes. Because he wants to, like, I guess, fix up the farm and sell it. Like he's done with other businesses, because that's his whole thing. He, like, moves into town, makes a business real nice, moves out of town and sells it and makes money. So he's, like, rich. He says, I'm not planning on staying here. She says, why not? Because it's a nice place to raise a family. You know, it's like, it was his home. And why not just live here if you're already here? Mm-hmm. He says, spoken like a true female. He calls women females like 17 different times.
That's bizarre.
I hate it when people say female.
And that's just such a odd... Why would that be traditionally feminine response? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
I don't...
No, it doesn't. Like, and so we kind of go through a couple scenes here. Anne is talking to who we find out is her best friend, the one who told him to take her to the house earlier without escorting him, which doesn't sound like a great best friend to me.
No.
But she's like 10 years older than her because she used to babysit her. Don't know that they explicitly mentioned her age. If they did, it didn't make a hit in my brain. So that was not the important part of this book.
Right.
But Ellen, the friend, wants Anne to, like, go all the way with this affair. She wants her to, like, jump all in. She doesn't know the dude.
Is Ellen married?
No.
Does she have a sex life?
No.
Exactly.
This is why.
Let me live vicariously through you.
Yeah.
Make bad decisions.
Yeah.
That is really weird.
Yeah. So Ellen just works at the doctor's office. She's not a nurse or anything like that. She's like the receptionist.
Okay.
And her cousin is the doctor.
Does that make her feel like she has doctor knowledge?
Yes. 100%. 100% she gives, like, medical advice.
I'm doctor adjacent.
Like
Yeah.
doctors' wives who are like, I know all of this stuff.
Like, oh, I served in the military. My husband served and I served with him.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm a
that's
military
true.
spouse.
Yes. My occupation.
Thank me for my service.
So yeah, and so actually the I'm not planning on staying here spoken like a true woman conversation was with Ellen, because I got a little confused there. So Ellen is actually now talking to Jonathan Sinclair after her conversation with Anne where she was like, yeah, fuck him so hard. So now Ellen talking to John after breakfast, everything like that. He's asking about her medical history to Ellen.
Ellen, you're being a bad friend right now.
Yeah.
And
not a
Ellen
girl's
is
girl.
sharing her medical history with him.
No.
That's literally HIPAA, for one.
Yeah.
For two, she can't be giving medical advice.
Oh yeah, because she works at the doctor.
She works at the doctor's office. The only doctor.
That's disgusting.
That would ruin a lifelong friendship for me.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
Honestly, this friendship doesn't sound like it should be a friendship, but I think this is her only choice in town.
Oh, that's sad.
Basically, she tells him that the heart murmur is nothing to worry about. She just has, like, a leaky valve. Which sounds like something to worry about for me.
Why are they talking about it like it's a car?
Yeah. Like, she's like, yeah, you know,
It'll
the
drive
injector is
fine.
just a little off. And she's like, yeah, if it gets worse, we'll have to, like, replace her heart. I'm like,
That's bad.
that's bad.
Homie.
That is so bad.
My sister in Christ.
Like, she'd have to have heart surgery? That sounds like something to worry about to me, but whatever. She says, it shouldn't stop you guys from having the best sex of your lives, essentially. Go on and have sex. She's, like, pushing both of them towards each other
Ellen,
so
you just
hard.
fuck them then. You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no. And also, Ellen is now going to talk about how she's with the senator, but the senator is only okay. And he's not the one for Anne, and she's not in love with him. So their relationship doesn't matter, regardless of what Anne or the senator may say.
Ellen is reckless driving. She needs to stay in her damn lane.
Ellen needs to stop daytime drinking.
She is just an interfering busybody.
Yeah. No, that's the whole thing. Yeah, so basically she's just like, yeah, she could live a perfectly ordinary life. Again, no medical knowledge. Should not be given.
Not her doctor.
Not her doctor. Also, HIPAA. And
Yes.
also, best friend should be worried about the health and safety of this girl.
What if he tried... Oh, let's just imagine, like, he's one of those douchebags that thinks BDSM is just, like, being really rough, and he tried that
Yeah.
and sent her to her grave.
Seriously. Or, like, he was just like, yeah, this will be so funny, and, like, shot off some fireworks in her house, and she died.
Right.
We don't know.
People literally die of heart attacks after sex. That is a thing.
That-
Even without heart defects.
Even without heart defects, just being old and having exciting sex can kill you.
So, like, yeah, and even
What a way
healthy
to go.
people just
Be a
die.
way to go.
Like, oh my gosh.
It's cute when you're, like, old and in love.
It's only then.
Yeah.
It's like that following evening. So, like, all this has happened same day, pretty much.
This is way too fast.
This is really, really fast.
Then the beginning, too, I feel like we had looked at each other at one point. It was like, this is the same day?
Yeah. No, this is all happening, like, same day. So this is,
How
like,
much time has it been since the book started?
like, how many pages or how
How
much?
many,
I
like...
think it's the same day as the book started.
She fainted this morning, and this is a conversation this
No,
evening.
actually, this is the next morning. My bad.
Okay.
So this is one day
That's
after.
much better.
Yeah. So now
Okay.
we're moving to the next night after he literally accosted her in front of the whole town.
Oh my god.
The senator is now in town for, like, some kind of convention, or they're having a discussion, something interesting. There's a big fancy dinner.
Okay.
Jonathan just invites himself and tells Anne that she's going to be sitting with him.
I hate this man. I hate this book.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
What was this, like 50 cents or something?
Too much.
Yeah, too
How
much.
dare.
I shouldn't have had, they should have paid me to take
They
this
should have
book.
paid you.
I want reparations. Here's my Venmo.
Seriously.
This is horrible.
And so then, like, Randall, who is the senator, he comes along, he's like, hey, are you going to sit with me? She's like, well, the table's already full. She doesn't mention that she's instead going to be sitting with this other man.
Stop playing into this.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And
She knows how to say no.
Yeah.
She could just tell him, hey, can you help me get rid of this douche? Like, he's bothering me.
Exactly.
If you have a man, use him to help you get rid of douchebags.
That, yeah. Let him do
Let
his
him be
job.
useful.
Doesn't the senator have, like, security there?
For
You
sure
would
he
think.
should. They don't mention it at all.
You could just be like, hey, kick this guy
There should
out.
be at least some kind of security for the event, if nothing
Yeah.
else.
Right.
Just go beat him up real quick.
Yeah. I mean, the whole town
Everyone will
already wants
agree.
to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just let someone at him. And so Randall is like, okay, so you're not gonna sit with me. And she's like, it's okay. We'll have cherry pie and coffee at my place after. Like, I guess that's kind of a normal routine for them. When he's in town, they sit
so
together
cute.
and have some pie, you know? Like, yeah. Like, they're really comfortable. Like, it feels like really good friends, and I could see a good relationship happening between people like that. You know?
Right.
Like, it doesn't seem like he's gonna push her boundaries too far, and they're comfortable.
It's safe. Consensual.
So in this we get like a little bit of exposition from, I guess, the doctor knew Jonathan when he was a kid and knew that he was wild. So this is where we get the exposition of, yeah, he was a wild kid, but he was a good kid. And this is where we find out Jonathan had previously been in a relationship with someone in town who tried to get him to marry them. And that's where his whole women are shrews who will try to marry you thing is from. Because she claimed to have been impregnated by him
Okay.
to get him to marry her. So she confessed after it all came out and he refused to marry her that it was someone like a ranch hand who had impregnated her and she just didn't want to get in trouble with her dad. So he's supposed to have like a valid reason to think all women are evil, basically.
Hey, you know who doesn't think women are evil?
Is it me?
These sponsors.
Thanks, sponsors.
Good on you. Good on you, sponsors.
Hey Biblio fans, friends, and fiends. Just taking a moment to tell you how to find our growing community. We're on Facebook and Instagram, where we try to post as often as we can. We have a subreddit that will start as soon as we get over our crippling fear of it. And of course our YouTube. Look us up at Bibliowrecks, spelled Bibliowrecks. We'd love to hear suggestions and chat about bad books there as well as over email. Our email is bibliowrecks@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to that bad book.
Welcome back to the really, really, really gross, not romance, because this is bad.
Yeah.
This is not even a bad romance.
Bad romance. So basically it's scene change after all the exposition about him being wild and that other girl, the horrible shrew, trying to get him to marry her, and how he was such a good boy through it all, you know, whatever.
He's not good.
He's not good
at all.
Also, that's a excuse when you're like, you get your heart broken when you're like 16, 17.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, I've been through that stage. I'm like, oh, boys are terrible.
Right.
Screw
He
their
let
feelings.
it become his personality.
You're an adult man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grow up.
And if he's really lived all these different places, been all around the world, had all these things, he should have enough experience to know you can literally go have a hookup at a bar.
I'm telling
you.
you.
go into a bar where people hook up, and then you go and you do that, and then you move on, and that's a thing you can go do. You don't have to go back to your hometown and pay someone and then throw a fit.
The man is allergic to learning. Almost guaranteed. Like, that is where he's at in life. Mm-hmm. He's stuck at 15. For sure.
Wow.
That happened to him, and he's never grown since as a person, because we'll find out it goes into more exposition about his life, and he turns into an even worse person just because of who he is. Yeah.
Oh, goody.
Ugh.
So now we are moving on to later that evening after the talk, and they're going back to Anne's house. So Jonathan walks with them, I guess, and then Randall's like, yeah, why don't you just join us and we'll talk and stuff, because he's such a shrewd businessman and everybody loves him. And so Randall wants to get to know the guy.
Randall is the senator?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's such a, yeah.
Even the senator likes this very unlikable guy.
That's like, why would you like him?
There's nothing likable about him.
Yeah, it gives me like used car salesman, you know, like.
Yes.
Yes. I swear, like, Jonathan Sinclair wrote this book. He was like, yeah, everyone loves me and I'm the best. So after they eat some pie, they talk. They're gonna wash the dish. She's gonna wash the dishes or put them in the sink, and he's like, or Jonathan is like, I'm going to help you, and won't let her say no, and then kisses her in the kitchen while Randall is in the living room.
Oh my god.
This makes my stomach turn a little.
Yeah, and she literally says stop, and he's just like, no, it's fine, because I've been wanting to do this all night, and Randall won't barge in because he's polite.
What the fuck?
Like, that's the only reason she could say, yeah.
What?
And it's in this scene that he says, like, some of the most awful lines I've heard in one of these romance novels. It says, open up to me, I want to taste you. And that gives me such ick. Like, that immediately makes my skin crawl.
Especially from him.
Yeah.
Like, there are circumstances where that might be.
That can be sexy on, like, your honeymoon.
Yeah. Like, in a sweet way. Not, he's sleazy.
This guy is
slimy.
gross.
Oh, it's so gross. And then she lets him kiss her. Because it literally says she fought a brief battle with her conscience, then decided to let him take the kiss. Not she wanted to kiss him, she let him take the kiss.
Girl.
She is giving in
She
to
could
him.
just walk into the living room and sit down next to her
She
senator.
could call 911.
Next to her senator.
Yes. Her senator.
If you know what, the idea, the man is there to protect you, and you have to have this man to protect you. If that's the, like, situation you're in, just use it. I have this guy, and he will stop you from touching me. So here, stop him from messing with me. Like,
He's right there.
she can say no and he doesn't listen, so go get help. He's right there in the other room.
Yeah.
Good Lord. And this is someone she chose to be with versus this creep who just showed up and said, I'm going to take what I want and
It's
you can't
like
do anything.
day 2 of her even knowing the dude.
This is so disturbing.
The inner monologue part really bothers me that she's, like, into it.
Yeah. But also at the same time, like, the wording that is used is explicitly doesn't want this to happen, but will let it happen.
So what you would hear if you were there was, like, a man pursuing a woman who's repeatedly denied his advances and
Continually
forced
says
himself.
no in different ways.
I don't like that. Really upsets me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very upsetting. Like, this shouldn't be a romance novel. Not even a bad one, really, because it's more like a hostage situation in every scene. So after they do their kiss la-ti-da, and it's so hot and heavy or whatever, and then he has to remind her that the senator's in the next room because she got so carried away with it because he wrote this book. He leaves because dawn comes early at the ranch, he says. Like, it comes earlier there. Like, time works weird in this town. And
I'm gonna have to get up so much earlier
Wait,
than you.
So pie and coffee lasted all night?
It lasted at least an hour for sure.
But it's dawn?
No, he's just saying that he'll have to get up extra early, I guess.
So
But,
it's not
like,
dawn right now?
No.
Okay.
No, thank God.
I was going to say, where did that time go? I don't like this.
What's sad is I was like, who's Dawn? I don't remember.
Dawn just shows up at the house like, hey.
You could have a romance novel of Dawn Comes Early.
Oh my gosh!
That would be so good.
Cut that. We're making billions.
Yes. Dawn comes early at the ranch.
Oh!
Dawn Comes Early.
Sprinkle
at the
werewolf.
Subway.
Yeah. It's
She
got,
could
like,
come everywhere.
she's got a whole series.
Dawn's really getting it.
She could just... She
Better
could be
book
so-
than this.
And it could be like she just has her variety of toys that go to different places with her.
Yes.
I love this.
God. And she, like, takes vacations and stuff, and it could just be, like, her having her best life.
If only that were this book.
Yes, indeed.
It wouldn't be on our podcast.
That's true. That's the point.
We should
That's
write the
point.
books we want to read. That's the
Yes.
story.
Yeah.
So now he's left, and Randall's just like, cool, I'm still here. Because Randall's just been sitting in the living room waiting for them to get done with the dishes.
If anyone deserves, like, vengeance and being a sad boy, it's Randall.
Yeah, but remember how I said there, like, aren't any real, like, clashes or stakes in this
Right.
novel?
Yeah.
It really comes out here because Randall is like, I noticed you two have, like, a lot of chemistry. You should go for it. Randall is trying to set these guys up. He doesn't fight. He says, if this is the great love of your life, don't let it slip away.
It's been 3 days.
And this is her boyfriend.
He just met the dude and her, and he's like, yeah, you should get it out of your system. And she says to him, I'm with you. Like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're a good guy. He's like, we don't have that kind of passion. She's like, yeah, you don't take advantage. Which means she thinks that Jonathan does take advantage of her.
Right, and that's what passion means.
So you got all this over coffee and pie?
Yeah.
This is the bad boy fantasy.
Yeah.
This is really the
And it's like-
narcissist bad boy fantasy.
So Randall basically is like, let me just step aside and you go have your fun with this crazy person who won't take no for an answer.
And I'll be here to pick up the pieces after he rapes you? Or
Yes!
what?
He's like, when you decide if you want me, I'll be here.
What the fuck?
And
this
leaves.
is not what humans are like at all.
Yeah.
This isn't even like a poly, like, oh yeah, you can have another person on the side. Because that would be like before the actual relationship started. That would be like within the boundaries and like what they
Yeah.
expect.
There would be like a social contract in that.
Yes,
Like,
this is disturbing.
yeah, no, this guy's just like, I see how much this guy makes your panties light on fire or whatever. So I'm just gonna walk away. He just leaves town.
I feel like this is what a lot of people who don't know about being poly think that being poly is. Like, oh, I just want to have sex with whomever and you're going to be cool with that. But we're not going to have any boundaries or...
And it's a little bit like,
That's not
get
how
it
it
out
goes.
of your system. But it's also a little bit like, this guy doesn't even fight for it because it's like, it feels like the writer didn't want to make anybody the bad guy at all. And so just wants to have every interaction just kind of like, if you look at it the right way, any kind of stakes just slide off.
She could have just been single.
Yeah.
We could have just written
That
her
didn't need
as
to
single.
happen.
None of this needed to happen.
That's so true. You could have completely, like, written him out and it would have changed nothing.
He was just there to make some competition that wasn't real because there wasn't any
There's no competition there.
What a weird choice.
It was really bizarre. And I was just like, why? So yeah, he's in town for one night, decides that she needs to go have a fling, and leaves without, yeah.
So did he not, like, love her?
I mean, honestly, though.
Because, like, his whole thing was like, I waited for you to accept me and to love me and all this stuff, and he just barged right in, and I guess it worked better for him, so bye.
Oof.
Like, it's a little bit, I'm jealous, and a little bit like, I'm not gonna fight for you.
Honestly, I agree with him.
Yeah.
If you come in, I don't know. I feel like it would have made way more sense if he just saw them making out.
He should have at least,
He didn't even see her.
No.
He wasn't even
Kiss her.
upset. Is the thing, he doesn't even sound that upset.
Like, if he saw him kiss her, it would make sense where he'd be like, all right, obviously I'm not needed here. Peace. Like, I'm not going to stand around and watch you But he was just
But
like...
it's very much in a, like, no, go have your fun kind of way. Like,
Yeah.
like,
I'm just confused.
I am too. Nobody has real human emotions in this book that last for anything other than, like, 5 seconds.
Okay.
It seems like. Like, it really feels that way. No consequences actually exist.
Was this written by a 17-and-a-half-year-old boy?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably
That makes
named
sense.
Jonathan Sinclair. And
Yes.
oh my gosh. And so that whole thing happened. She's left just like, everyone wants me to sleep with this guy. Everyone in town is obsessed with me sleeping with this man. Because, like, her friend...
Peer pressure should not cause a sexual relationship.
No.
I don't care how, like, passionate a kiss was. If you didn't want that kiss, that's assault.
Well, not only that, she doesn't seem to be into this relationship. He is the one showing up over and over and over and harassing her. But he obviously doesn't want commitment or a real relationship. He just wants to have sex with her, like, one time and then leave town.
Yeah.
Because he's said that to her. And she doesn't seem like she really wants a single fling. She's been comfortable with this senator for a little while and has her routine and her usual stuff. And she has a heart condition and doesn't need all this excitement anyway.
Right. Like, she had her life in order, and he came and just threw things around, like,
But it's
rifling
not
through her
sexy or
drawers.
exciting.
No.
No,
If
it's
it was,
boring.
I'm riding in on my motorcycle.
It's not even romantic at all.
I got broke down on the side of the road, and the hot, sexy guy on the motorcycle has to drive me to the station
Yeah.
to call somebody. Ooh, he's nice in these tight leather pants. That would be a cause of events, a course of events that would cause you to be like, oh, this bad boy is awfully hot and kind of rough around the edges, and my very boring accountant husband doesn't get me hot anymore. That is where you have the breakdown, the conflict between the good boy, the bad boy, and what she really wants because she's been stuck in this boring relationship. But we haven't seen the senator be boring, and we haven't seen the new guy be a bad guy who is enticing.
Right. Or even, like, good underneath.
He's just a misogynist.
He's, like, one layer of just awful person.
Because you have to have the bad boy at least be super hot or attractive.
Or a secret teddy bear.
And then
Or
it's
something.
like, yeah, he got out of prison for arson, but now he knits blankets for homeless mice. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Homeless mice.
It's like, oh my god, he actually does care. But no, this guy just sucks all around.
Yeah, no.
I bet he's really, really bad and selfish in bed. That is what
Oh,
all of this is
absolutely.
given.
But wait,
Absolutely.
you forget it's a romance novel. Everything has to be perfect. So, like,
Except for the man.
nothing tracks. Nothing tracks in this book. You cannot follow a clear progression of character or real progression of storyline because it all just, it's so wishy-washy on like the conflict, and everybody is either wants him out of town or wants him to have sex with her.
I gotta give it to you. This was a great book for this podcast.
Right? Like, the amount of cat bookmarks in this book. Then we have to see him being a super tough macho man, right? We have, everybody needs that scene so that we know that he's a man. Mm-hmm. For sure. So he gets a splinter. Yeah, that's he gets a splinter in his thumb, and it says that it almost goes all the way through. I don't believe him.
I don't
at all.
I've literally had that happen when I was a kid, and that was horrific, and I cried.
Yeah.
It's awful.
But this is like his test of manhood, I guess. So instead he just cuts it out with his pocket knife, and I guess wraps it in some duct tape.
Oh my god.
Because he's a man. But then it's still hurting, so he has to go to the doctor. So he's not even... So he goes to the doctor, and Anne is there. I guess she was just hanging out. So she's sitting with him. You know, it's kind of like a, nursing him back to health kind of situation. Except he's like, no, I don't want any painkiller, when the doctor's like, there's more splinter in here.
And we need to get it out.
Yes. And the man almost faints.
This guy is so pathetic.
Meanwhile, they give women Tylenol for IUDs.
Yes. Like, and the room wavered for a second as the pain shot up his arm again. It's a splinter, my dude. But he doesn't swear because that would be too hard for Anne to hear. He's worried it would be too raunchy for her. Yeah,
because he's a gentleman.
He's a gentleman.
What the hell?
And so... Yeah, no, he just refused this, and the doctor's just like, all right, and just keeps going. So then the doctor's like, yeah, there's a little bit more. It's right next to the bone. I'll have to go in. And he's like, it already hurts. It's like, you had the option. He was gonna give you lidocaine, my dude. And so he's like, fine, I'll take the shot. And then it fixes it, and he's like, oh, that's so much better. It's like, yeah, dude, you could have had this the whole time. You didn't have to be a jackass.
Wow. And we know he has medical insurance.
Right.
Like, why are you being like this?
He is not being charged for this doctor's appointment.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Shut up and take a lidocaine.
Because the receptionist, Ellen, she told him to go to the doctor's office, so it's free this one time.
What world does this author live in?
Because you know what is weird, right? So the doctor is Ellen's cousin. His wife died a few years back.
Okay.
They're supposed to be, like, an end-goal romantic couple.
The doctor and Ellen?
Yes.
The cousins?
The cousins.
Wait, what?
That's like a not even a B plot. That's like a C plot going on the whole time, is that, like, Anne wants Ellen and the doctor to get together, and they're, like, kind of seeing each other, but they're cousins. This whole town is fucked up.
Is this in West Virginia?
No, it's Texas.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the West Virginia.
The West Virginia of the Southwest.
Yeah.
Like, Southwest Virginia.
And that's they didn't have to be cousins. Why did you choose that? Interesting choice.
This author made some really bizarre choices.
It really, really, really did. I don't know why this had to happen, but it did. Now the doctor is going to talk about Anne's medical history with Jonathan Sinclair.
I hope this ends with a lawsuit. I know it won't.
I wish it did. I would have.
I feel like this town needs some napalm.
This town could use a nice nuclear strike every now and again just to clear
the Christmas kiss is the bombs touching down.
$1. I'll pay you $1.
What is this?
It doesn't make sense. But basically the doctor is just letting him know everybody in town is either rooting for him or rooting for Anne to marry him.
And this guy has been there 3 days.
Yeah, this is all taking place in less than a week.
In a real life, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, nobody is just watching you intently. They're going about their lives.
This is a soap opera.
Yes.
Where the main characters, like, the entire cast.
This
revolves
is
around
like
these
the
two
weirdest
characters.
version of a Disney movie.
Oh, that's a
You
good
know?
Right,
comparison.
where everybody cares.
Everybody's
about what's
invested in
happening.
these
Yeah.
two people
Yeah.
more than anything else. Nothing else happens when they leave the room.
Yeah.
And they
These
take
are all NPCs.
they take other people's life decisions weirdly personally.
Yes, 100%. Then the doctor tells Jonathan that she has never taken anything stronger than a vitamin or a headache tablet. I don't know why, but he does.
What does that matter?
I guess she's so healthy with her heart defect that
Maybe he was insinuating that he hopes that he has a small dick.
He... I guess he's trying to say, like, she's healthy enough to have sex. But, like,
Stop
that's
it.
the weirdest way to say it because taking pills is not a measure of healthiness, really.
No.
And there's not a pill that would fix a heart defect. That's...
Like, not a heart murmur.
No.
She would need to go have surgery to correct that.
She has to take antibiotics, like, literally anytime she has even a minor surgery and stuff because, like, they're worried that,
And also, wouldn't that mean she can't take birth control?
I don't
They
know.
don't mention birth control.
Because antibiotics mess with birth control.
Well, she probably wouldn't be on birth control if she wasn't having sex with anyone.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause
she
they
is a
said she's-
25-year-old virgin.
Well,
said
if they
she is a
did,
virgin.
that's true. But if they
Yeah.
did hook up, and he's like, I don't want a wife. I don't want kids.
but she doesn't
I guess
want
that's
kids.
too logical. I'm thinking
He
too
better
logically.
wrap it, and
Yeah.
he's not going to want to.
No.
Oh, that comes up. No! Yeah.
Put it back down.
We get the condoms in here.
Does he use them?
I
Okay.
think... I don't remember if it said that he put one on, but it's, I think, implied. It's worrying, for sure. So yeah, everybody's rooting for him and her to fuck it out. Then he goes to the drugstore to pick up an antibiotic cream, some bandages for his thumb, his poor thumb. And
Oh, poor baby.
yeah, you've never known a thumb that hurts so bad as this man's thumb. He'll let you know. But he stops in there, and the doctor is an identical twin with the pharmacist. So, like, he just, like, shows up, and it's the same guy. It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender with Shoe.
That's legitimately funny.
Like, yeah.
Because you can just, in a book, you can just do that.
Right, like, nobody knows. You're not gonna
It
see
serves well, I don't know if it serves any purpose. Is it just funny?
It's just funny, I guess.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't really get brought up that much, and he's not in a relationship with Ellen, so I guess she only goes for the one twin. But whatever. She has two cousins. She could have chosen either one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
If this was a real romance novel, it would be a threesome, okay?
Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. That's what the cousins threesomes.
Or, like, she slips in bed
It's twins and cousins all at the same time.
and
Yes.
then realizes after, like, oh, no, I thought that you were John, not Ron.
And then for a little bit of homoeroticism, she comes back and they're kissing in bed. Whoa.
And you
We
still
already
get
give them
incest.
Right?
Perfect.
This is horrible.
It is. It's so bad. And the pharmacist gives Jonathan samples of condoms. Just a whole box of free condoms. Because he's also rooting for them to fuck it out. Because no one in this town has a life besides John and Anne.
Is this supposed to be at Christmas?
Yes.
Because
This
that
is
was
all like
Christmas
right
Bazaar.
before Christmas.
She would be working so many hours. She
Oh
would have
my
no time to
God.
deal with this.
Yeah.
Because all of the...
Oh, and there's a wedding going on soon, too.
She would
there's
have no
so much
time
happening
to
in
deal with
town.
this.
Like, this town is so busy, and they're getting ready for a, like, you know those, like, small town USA, like, competitions where they're, like, the cutest small town in America or something? They're prepping the town for that, like, making it nice and pretty.
Yeah,
so
as
that
a
when people-
florist, she would be up day and night.
Yeah. With all of the no.
Wedding, Christmas, decorating the town.
Yeah, this week has been wild for her.
I would have no time for a man if I was running a florist shop.
Right? But no, so he gets a lecture from the doctor about safe sex, and then he gets the tools for safe sex from the pharmacist, his twin brother, and he moves on. He goes to talk with and the condoms slip out of the bag while she's wrapping up his thing, and the aunt finds them and is like, you know, clutching pearls, because that's the character of this aunt is the pearl clutcher, essentially. That's her whole character, the worrywart and also the pearl clutcher. So she gets upset, you know.
You know, I'm not usually rooting for the prude, but in this situation,
Right.
She probably has more sensible ideas about this.
Honestly, the cousins better love story than John and Anne right now. So, like at this point, it's more romantic. And
That's
they're
sad.
consenting. So, like...
That's important.
It is important. So they go to dinner, they, like, dance. I guess they have, like, a nice-ish dinner. Then they're in the car and they're, like, making out, I guess, like teenagers.
Okay.
For funsies. It's really weird because at this point he says that she's the most passionate woman he's ever met. And she says, because of you, like, he made her the woman she is.
That's just really strange.
How long has she known him up to this point?
I think it's 3 days. 3 or 4. It might be 4 because he kept talking about how he had, like, dreamed.
I'm not convinced that AI didn't write this book.
Yeah, so she was just... as if she were the archetype of all females who had gone before and would come afterwards in this crazy mixed up world, is how he describes her. But then he says he doesn't want to have sex with her.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because she was like, yeah, we could just go and have sex. Like you wanted.
It's because she wants to be in control. She decides
because
yes.
she wanted him. He likes to refuse the women. He likes to beat them off with a stick.
As soon as she was like, yeah, I'm into it, he's like, nah.
Yeah, it's just
I'll
not
pass.
important. No, it's because the whole town wants them to fuck, and he's like, that's really weird. I don't know that I could be part of that. Too many people
Is
want
it the
him to have
performance
sex.
anxiety of
Yes.
500 people watching him?
100%.
This is gonna end up in some sort of ritual. I can feel it.
But, like...
No, that's how we save the book. He is the...
like a sacrifice?
He's the virginal
Oh my
sacrifice.
God. That would be excellent. It's like that song, the Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. Where
In
they're not-
juxtaposition.
They're just, like, setting up the candles. Like,
This winter, mid-Christmas.
oh.
This whole town, and that's who they have. They have to fall in love with the virginal florist, and then they get sacrificed.
Yes. And she's like a child of Satan or something, and that's why she's so tempting.
She's
is like
so beautiful because she's
a succubus.
succubus.
Yes.
And she's why the town is so prosperous, and they have to keep her.
And that's
happy.
why
Oh,
they're
this
all
is
so
so
invested. They're
good.
like, it has to be set up right. They like, yeah, no. That's actually a better
This is
story.
beautiful. And then just market it as a romance and confuse your audience.
Yes. But, like, people would love it. They'd be
It'd
into
be way,
that.
way better.
And I think he seems to think that she's trying to like, the whole town is trying to trap him into marriage with her. like,
Is the town in the prenup? I don't understand.
and then, so she says, like, I will put it in writing. I'm not going to marry you, even if you begged me. She says this. She's like, I promise it's not about marriage. Do you want to fuck? And he's like, oh, why not? Why don't you want to marry me?
He doesn't want to marry her.
And she says, I prefer older men like Randall.
Okay,
He
that's
says,
fine.
you're not in love with him, and you don't want him the way you want me. It would never work. You'd think of me and wonder what you'd missed every time you made love. And she just says, what an ego. Yeah, like, what an asshole.
Man, okay. Jonathan, your dick is not that good.
It's not.
No.
I promise.
It's not
I
magic.
promise, it is not magic.
You can't live without it, even though you haven't even seen it.
And so then she's like mad because it's like, well, why did we make out and stuff if you're not going to sleep with me? Like, I thought that was the whole point of this.
I thought that's what he wanted. He's been saying the whole time.
So she's like irritated, which I get. Like,
Yes.
she just basically got blue balls.
Yes, and then it's supposed to be, oh, well, she's a girl, so she's just being whiny.
Right. And like, oh, everybody's like trying to get us together. She must want to marry me. Why doesn't she want to marry me? Yeah.
Because she didn't want to marry anyone.
Right.
She didn't marry Randall. She's not going to marry him.
Yeah, when was that ever, like, why would you even consider that as a prospect? When was that ever discussed that she... he's infuriating.
No, she has explicitly said multiple times, like, dude,
No.
I don't want to marry you. Like, if anything, this is going to be some hot sex and we're done.
Right. That's what he was wanting, was a hookup. He said, I don't want kids. I don't want a relationship. You're pretty. Let's have sex. basically.
She was like, okay, cool. All right.
She finally got on board with it.
So I think I have the timeline a little bit off. This is actually like 5 or 6 days after.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah.
That's such a difference.
Because she has
ruined that
Time jump.
I know. It would have been so much more romantic if we had thought about the whole 6 days that they've known each other. My God.
So many montages.
This is just like them saying hi once and then they pick up the mail together. I don't know.
Reach for the same cupcake.
What do romance people do?
I don't know.
Sexy things. So yes, because the next day is Sunday, and she has to be planting all of the borders around City Hall.
Okay.
With like her volunteers because they're doing the town beautification thing for the fancy people to come in and say, yeah, you have the best town we've ever seen. Congrats.
Right.
She's just like, okay, well, I have to go do that. If we're not gonna fuck, I want to go to bed. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, fine. And I guess they kind of have...
Is he staying at her house?
No.
Where are they?
Right now they're in the car still.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm going to go home and go to bed.
Yeah, she's like, dude, just if it's not gonna get more than heavy-handedness.
We have to throw ads. Do you want to do one?
Sure. You know who isn't going to blue ball a woman and then ask her why she won't marry him?
Who's that?
These sponsors.
Oh, I hope this isn't my Patreon ad.
I hope it is.
We'll be right back. Hello, Biblio freaks, geeks, and lovers. Bugs here. We wanted to let you know about our option to follow us on Patreon. We have a couple of tiers where you can listen to our bad book, bad movie review. We read a bad book and then we watch its bad movie counterpart. In the past, we've done Aragon, Shadow Builder by Bram Stoker, and we have a lot of different things in the future. Please let us know if you have any suggestions for future bad book, bad movie combos, and let's get back to the podcast. We are back.
All right, so we're cutting to the next day after the whole thing happened with kissing in the car, not having sex.
Mm-hmm.
They are now planting tons and tons of mums.
Tons of mums.
In December.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in Texas.
Yeah, they're in Texas.
Okay.
Okay.
But they're like beautifying everything, so they've got like lots of volunteers out there. He has agreed to plant extra mums or whatever. Cool, I guess. Doesn't make you a good guy. And
True.
yeah, so they're planting all of these, and then they say that the fire chief's sons like sneak off, and they're like, oh, those are the troublemakers. We should let him know. And like 5 minutes later, all of a sudden, cows are stampeding through the town.
Oh no.
They release the cows. Like, they're just like yeet. And so the cows are trampling all over these.
Oh no.
But this is the first time where we see something really annoying to me specifically.
Oh no.
I'm excited.
It has to do with plants.
It does. They continue after this point. They will over and over again say, mums have bulbs, and they don't.
I remember you telling me that.
They'll just keep being like, oh, those are your seed bulbs, or these are the bulbs we're planting. No, shut up. Stop talking to me.
Dear listeners, Lily is going into school for horticulture, right? And so she knows all the plants.
All of them.
Literally on one Google, I was like, is there any kind of mum that could potentially have something like a bulb? No.
It would have been so easy to fact check, too.
They could have just done like something else, something that is bulbs.
Yes.
There are plenty of bulbous plants. Like, oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, no, irritated the shit out of me. I was like, I woke Bam Bam up from a dead sleep, and I was like, they said bulbs. I was so mad.
That was like me when we were doing a different book. Oh, I can't remember, but it had something about bugs, like insects in it.
Yes.
And it was wrong, and I was so upset. And I was like, no.
It's like, don't include it if you're
Yes, if you're just going to be so wrong.
just be vague. They didn't have to
Yeah,
specify.
you can be vague, or you can... if
Just
you're
pick
going
something
to write a
else.
book about a fucking florist...
Yes, if you're
Yes.
going to have florist, and if flowers and flower growing and flower selling are the center of your people's careers, know your plants.
Give it to someone who does that and be like, hey, can you just make sure this is all accurate and makes sense?
Right? Yeah.
So easy. Okay.
But yeah, so the cows trample through and destroy all of these bulbs. And then they said 100 cows just parade
That's
through.
a lot of cows.
That's a lot of
That
cows.
is a lot of cows,
That is
right?
a lot of cows.
And then they see the bull.
What?
Because I guess the bull was with the cows. But yeah, so there's 100 cows and one big bull.
Okay.
Who
Is this a harem? Is this a cow harem?
Yes, Karam.
Well, if it was breeding season,
It would make sense.
You know, that would make sense that, you know, the bull was with the cows, but that's weird.
Yeah, no idea what cattle breeding. I don't know how long they gestate or anything. So we've got a bull pawing at the ground. It's ready to like.
God.
Yeah, it's gonna
a
jump at
cartoon
her.
bull.
Yes, no, this bull is anger incarnate, and that is all it knows.
This is a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
It has a nose ring.
It sees red and just goes so pissed off angry.
Yes.
So then, of course, Jonathan jumps between her and the bull to, like, protect her, and he's like, get behind the tree. And then he literally bullfights the bull with his
what?
shirt.
No.
He takes off his shirt and is, like, fading the bull around while the vet is getting
tranquilizer,
the tranquilizer
dart
gun. Yeah, no, they literally used the dart gun to shoot the bull. So once again, the stakes aren't stakes.
Funny.
And
So funny.
nobody really gets hurt. Like, he gets scratched up a little bit, and so she has to, like, take care of him again. But, like, why was that in there?
That is so funny. Oh my god.
I want this to be a movie just so we could see how dumb it is.
It's so...
It makes no sense.
It's so bizarre.
Also, rodeo, that line of work, is so extremely dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
God. Cows are
No,
so scary.
he explained it as him and his friends used to just jump into the bull yards and play with the bulls, because
Cows are so scary because they're so big.
They're
so much
huge.
bigger than you think.
they, like, even just accidentally, they can kill so many people.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, basically they were like, oh no, now all the flowers are ruined, you know, all this grass is like torn up and stuff. They were like, and he was like, I guess you can just pull up some of the mum bulbs from the ranch and use those for your decor, and then I'll just grab the bulbs afterwards because they'll be done blooming.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know plants, and this is annoying me.
It was really frustrating because, like, I could see, you know, like, them coming to the end of their bloom season. So they're like, okay, well, again, stakes are not stakes for this writer because it's fixed. He just donates more flowers, they get more volunteers, and they plant them back, and it looks even better than it did before.
So there was no reason for any of that to happen.
Exactly! It was just so that he could look like a big man. That was all of it. Oh, and then he did say this. I can't, to Anne. So Jonathan says, I can't have an affair with you and then sell out and leave as if nothing had happened. It wouldn't be fair to you, he said. And she said, even if I tell you that's all I want, he said, women always want to sentence a man for life. He has learned nothing.
He wanted to marry her!
He has learned nothing.
Why won't you marry me?
And she's like, no, I don't, like, shut up, dude. And so he kind of goes through this whole phase of figuring out why he feels the way he does. But the thing is, we do talk a little bit about his parents.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're both hardcore feminists. He didn't
What?
have to be like this.
What? He
Yeah.
chose to be a Chad?
Like, he literally says that they were, like, marching in protests and everything. They were, like, hardcore feminists.
And he didn't learn what consent is?
No, he didn't learn that women actually matter somehow from all of that. He does say to her, again, you're one of the most unpredictable females I've ever met. I hate that he calls them female. Why would you call women females like that?
Because it's reducing them to their biological function, not labeling them as people.
Like, he just, all the time, he's like, women want to marry and are shrews, and females this and females that. This is not a redeemable character.
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
And it's reducing all women to, like, a traditional ideology, and there's no room for anyone in between. Women think and act exactly how I think they do.
Right, because they're not individuals. They're just a trope. They're just
Right.
caricatures.
Yeah, it's it drives me a little crazy. They do get together. They have sex. They have sex twice in like one night. Good for them, right? Like, well,
And she's a virgin?
the first time that they have sex is actually he goes to her house and gives her oral because he forgot the condoms. So he does at least avoid being a huge douchebag. It's still a little weird. But yeah, so she really likes it.
Okay.
And yeah, like enjoys it pretty good. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's not the worst thing you could do.
Surprising. It's very surprising to me.
But after they have sex for real, like penetration, penis and vagina sex.
A little bit of P&V.
You know, the good old P&V. After that, like, he straight up is like, why won't you marry me? The man catches feelings so fast.
That's a red flag.
It is.
That's technical
bizarre.
foul. Why? Does they give any explanation for these wild shifts?
Because she's just the beautiful woman, and yeah, no, it
Because
doesn't.
she's the succubus and he's the virgin.
Did you-
She is going to sacrifice him.
And then we get to learn a little bit more about him and his personality. Because he says that when he was going to see the world, you know, after high school, he did take some business courses in college, but didn't go back to after the first couple years because he knew more about business than the professors.
Oh my god.
Imagine living with this asshole for the rest of your life. He knows more than everyone else just by existing.
We all know this man, and he does
Yes.
not get invited to the functions.
Yeah, it's like, and then he says the courses were for bean counters. I had already learned you only needed to be tougher than the guys you were dealing with in order to win.
That's not what business
That's
school
not
teaches
what
you.
that is.
No, I'm in business.
That's
school,
not how
and
that
is
works.
Not how you learn. That's not what you learn there.
What the heck?
This author doesn't understand.
She's like, yeah,
plants.
dominance.
Well, it's like it's just playing with caricatures of the tough businessman is like Trump. If you can look him in the eye and shake their hand firmly, you're on top and you do the best business. Like
Yeah.
that's not how the real world works.
She keeps telling and not showing. She's telling us that he's so smart, but doesn't show, like, how he's just like, I'm so smart, I don't need to. There's nothing to prove, like, show how intelligent he is. We're just supposed to believe that. And I don't. I don't believe it.
No. Yeah, he's frustrating in his personality and his character. And they have sex twice in one night that first time, right? And then, of course, he's like, you know, marry me. He literally said, I've got it right here, the quotations, how soon can we be married?
Never.
How soon can we be married?
It's the assumption for me.
Seriously. And he's just like, because he told her he loved her in the throes of passion, now they have to be married. He's decided this.
I'll be like, your Uber's outside.
And then he's like, oh, I'm staying in town and we can just have a family. And she's like, shut up. I don't want that. Yeah. And he's just like, well, this other guy isn't as good as me. And like, you know, all the stupid reasons. He says to her, you've ruined my sterling reputation. What are you going to do about it? She says nothing. He said, I figured that would be your attitude. I'm giving you one last chance. Marry me or face the consequences.
Of what? They just had sex.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that is
And
going
he
to
was
happen.
the one who didn't want to get married.
I'm giving you a chance.
This is all like
I didn't-
within a couple weeks.
Oh my god.
Like, I'd say max 3 weeks. Max.
This is This would be a TikTok with 1 million views of like, I met this crazy ass dude. He was pretty hot. We were gonna hook up, and then he was like, marry me or suffer the consequences.
Yes!
And everybody would be like, call the police.
Yeah. And also, my whole town was rooting for it. Like, it's just like...
Everybody
this is like
wanted
a
us to
Sims
fuck.
plot somehow. So then, the consequences of her not marrying him are that he will hound her at every passing moment. He sends flowers to her house with a note that says, don't even let her read the note before you just drop them on her porch so she can't return them. From a competitive floral. Not even from her.
What?
He paid...
What a dick.
Yeah. So I guess he got like a florist from the town
From out of
over.
town?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then he's like having people line up flowers outside her house. In the language of flowers, it's supposed to say something about like faithfulness and stuff like that. that, and like never forget you, and he just changes out these flowers constantly, and I'm like, trespassing. This is her house. He's got rows of he's got people changing about. The whole town is in on it. The whole town is helping him.
Sell your business, run away. Forget this place.
No, this is scary. He's stalking her. He's harassing the hell out of her.
He's got a sign out there that says, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Old time is still a-flying. And the same sweet flower that blooms today, tomorrow may be a-dying." She's 25.
We're just going to... No, you know what? Let's get this over with. I hate this. Move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all but, like, I'm literally at the end of the book, pretty much. So he does all this, and then he goes on television because he sets up a giant heart of roses that says, "John loves Anne," in the middle of the town, and gets the television crews out there to see it. And so she turns to her TV because Ellen is like, "Yeah, turn on your TV. Isn't this crazy?" Because everybody's helping him.
Stop it.
Stop enabling this psycho.
Town therapy meeting right now.
Yes, 100%. Leave this town, Anne. You deserve better than this.
Yes.
She's just like, what the fuck? Her dad finally shows up from out of town, and he's like,
You
is
should
this,
really
like,
fuck that guy. No, I'm just
kidding. So she's just like, what the heck is going on? He then, like in Love Actually, stands outside of her house with a sign.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like the signs are all like, kiss a friend. Like, he has the whole town out there too. He makes everybody stand out there with a sign that says like, kiss a frog, marry a prince, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, give him a chance. Outside her house, he won't leave her alone.
I don't understand why, as the reader, we're supposed to find this romantic.
I feel like this person has no idea what is romantic to people. Like, I swear they don't have human emotions. Anne talks to Jonathan and is like, one of the reasons I won't marry you, I'm afraid to have kids. I have this birth defect. I have these issues. This has happened in my past. So Jonathan goes and talks to the doctor and the mayor, who is Anne's uncle. And
Anne is related to everyone.
Anne is and they're all related to each other, and they're all fucking. So don't forget it.
Is related to half the people in the medical field.
This town has 5 people in it, so like, we've all been there. So he goes like basically behind her back to talk to her dad and her uncle and the doctor, and they come up to talk to Anne and to Jonathan, and they're like, there seems to be some confusion about what you can or can't do. He says to Anne, John tells me you think you shouldn't have children. Doc's been taking care of you since you were hardly more than a baby. Did he ever tell you not to have children? And then Marge, her aunt, bursts out that she has a heart condition. Of course she can't have children. It's too dangerous. It turns out that is not true. She doesn't have a congenital heart defect, just a normal heart defect.
I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Explain to me the difference.
It's not passed down. She wouldn't give it to her children. She would still be in danger from birth.
Okay, that's what I... Like,
Yes.
she could still...
But they said that with antibiotics, the risk during pregnancy is no more than any normal expectant mother would experience.
Which is still more than it should be.
Right.
Maternal death rates are still much higher in the U.S. than in other first world countries.
But once again, we've met a conflict that as soon as you look at it, it just disappears. Because they can't have real stakes.
And she's also allowed to just not want kids.
Yeah.
And she's also allowed to be afraid of pregnancy.
Yeah, you can just say no.
I've had 2 kids. You should be afraid of pregnancy.
Yes.
Honestly, that's one of my bigger reasons I haven't had another one, because I don't know if I want to do it again.
It's painful. It is damaging to your
Even
body.
under the best of circumstances,
Yes.
people die.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is really hard.
The mortality rate from childbirth for a healthy person is not 0.
It's non-zero, yes.
And especially like the state of things now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if things go wrong, I'm not sure that I would be the one that's advocated for. It's just scary all around.
But you guys remember that her mom died during childbirth, right?
Right.
Right.
Supposedly from a heart condition.
Right.
Now we find out that her mother died from other complications, and they say a broken heart, perhaps, and stubbornness. That doesn't make sense.
They're doing a Padme.
Yes.
They're doing a fucking
She
Padme
lost
from
the will to
Star Wars. No. No.
She was just so sad.
No
like, she didn't take her
woman.
vitamins.
No.
She didn't take her vitamins, and so she
No.
died. So the author was like, yeah, I'll just get rid of all these things that we've set up to be the stakes this whole time by, like, explaining them away-ish.
So she still has a heart defect. It's unlikely she'll pass it on to children, but it's still going to affect her life.
Yes.
She has still had all of these physical issues.
She still has to
And
be
they
careful.
want her to ignore all of that to marry this douchebag who showed up in town and
Harassed
then
her
harassed
for
her,
weeks.
assaulted her, paid her $20 for kisses, and said he was going to get him back however he wanted.
At this point, he spent more time harassing her than they spent on any type of relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing, he just bought an engagement ring in town. Yeah, everybody was talking about it because he went to the only jeweler in town.
This is a horror novel.
Yeah! No, she only has mitral valve prolapse, which is still potentially dangerous. You could have to have a valve replacement, things like that, like heart surgery. But it's relatively common, no big problem, according to this doctor, who is just talking to her out in the open with everybody around to hear it.
Why wouldn't she know this? Why wouldn't she know this?
Her aunt apparently, like, I guess just told her that she had a heart defect and never went in. Why wouldn't the doctor have talked to her about this?
If this is something that she's
This
taking
woman's
medication
25.
for,
She's 25.
she's got her own insurance.
Health care.
Yeah, she's got her own insurance, presumably. She
Why
has
did
to take
nobody
medication.
talk to her about this and the ins and outs of it? She's been dealing with this her whole life. And so she can have children. Everything is fixed. La-ti-da. They get engaged. They get engaged. Everybody's so happy for them. And it's terrible. That's the end of the book.
Nothing about this made me feel good.
I'm so angry. And guess what? As long as this episode will be, we still didn't cover like half of the random ass B plots that have no meaning in the story whatsoever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's like
you.
there's so much random shit.
Honestly, none of the A plots had anything to do with...
No, they didn't. Nothing mattered.
Nothing mattered.
Nothing mattered. In the end, none of it mattered. And like at the same time, give her some time to get used to that information. It was like he was like straight up right there, and then they like get engaged like right after that conversation. She didn't have time to digest that. Give her some time to digest the fact that she thought she could die at any given point and has just found out that she has like a minor heart problem.
And the
not-
fear that has haunted her entire life because her mom died, presumably from a heart condition, was incorrect.
Yes.
And no one told her that.
Yeah.
This was so weird.
They like
This is
gaslit
so
this woman
weird.
into adulthood
This
with her medical.
is bizarre.
And
This
that's
was
a
a
romance
cult-
novel. Do you
this-
guys want to hear the back of it? Because it's so stupid.
Sure.
So it says the one sale he couldn't resist. As soon as rancher John Sinclair put down his $20 at a kissing booth, florist Ann Hayden knew that she was in for it. Mr. Sex in Pants certainly wasn't the type to
That was unhinged.
sex in pants with hyphens. Certainly wasn't the type to settle for a quick little peck. But Anne wasn't expecting to actually swoon in the guy's arms. Unfortunately, Anne had a problem. She had a heart condition that ensured her life was dull and safe as it could get.
Dull.
Yes!
She has her own business.
And John was hardly safe. In fact, he was just the sort of guy to make a girl's heart give out altogether, and she still owed him 19 more kisses.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
You picked a good one.
thank you.
Good job.
That was good.
I hate my life. Like...
Dull. She had a senator boyfriend.
She had
Yes.
a whole life. I mean, she was
Yeah.
in charge of a committee.
She had a complete life.
She was a bad bitch.
Yes, she had such a good life. She was like, she had her own house.
In this
God's sakes,
economy?
a separate house
At 25.
at 25.
This is a very successful young woman.
And-
This is insane.
yeah.
What would you rate this book? You A plus or F fail?
So at least, I mean, like, it had paragraphs. It had
That's good.
chapters.
That's good.
It had page numbers, even. It was formatted.
Good.
So, like, formatting, like a B minus. It was okay. It wasn't, like, the most beautiful thing I've ever written in, like, words or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Story-wise, 100% F minus. Like, you failed so hard trying to make me like these people. Like, Anne, get out of there. I'm afraid. This is a horror movie.
It required way too much suspension of belief in my personal view.
Was there any belief ever?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything that's, like, redeemable or interesting, and I'm really not.
No.
That's just bizarre.
Like, to the very end, he's like, women are hateful, awful shrews.
Except for you.
Yeah,
You're
and
special.
then, you don't want to marry me? Marry me. Marry me now, because I can't take rejection.
Did you look up this author or look up anything else they've done?
I didn't, because I was so angry with just the book that I was like, I can't know anything more about this person or I might die.
Right.
I was like, I'm too full of rage.
Did they have Christmas in the book? Did Christmas happen, or was this all before Christmas?
So this was all, like, before Christmas, pretty much. Like,
Wow, this
before and, like,
happened
right at
in
Christmas.
3
But they didn't
weeks?
have, like, a Christmas scene where they all come together and get presents or anything.
Because the front of the book looks
It's-
like a mistletoe.
Yeah, no, it's literally called Christmas Kisses for $1. Like, it's supposed to be a Christmas book, but nothing that happens in it is really Christmas.
That's just kind of disappointing. I was
Yeah.
expecting
Because this
more-
could have happened in Midsummer.
Yeah,
basically,
there's no
like,
reason
there's-
it needed to be at Christmas.
Your whole
That's the tagline.
from
like,
the jump, from the title, the whole aesthetic is Christmas time romance. And
Yeah,
is there
we're supposed
snow?
to be at Christmas.
No,
It's in Texas.
Yeah.
So what's the
There's
point?
no snow. I mean, they plant
Mums.
mums. Like, that's not Christmas.
Why
No.
Texas? That's such a weird choice.
This is really weird choices.
Yeah.
Really odd.
So it's a Christmas book, but is it?
No.
It's a romance novel.
But is it? Genre subverting. Like,
Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming and doing this
Thank
with me
you
at
for
Christmas
listening.
time. Thank you, Birdie, for coming and doing this with us. I know you had to make time and schedule everything to come up and be over here.
It was
but
a
we
joy.
hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy Yule.
stay away from Jonathan Sinclair.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Happy Hanukkah.
Do that too, yeah.
Thank you, Jay, for being our producer, even though you're not here today. Thank you, Bam Bam, for letting me borrow Lily and kicking you out of the studio. Thank you, listeners, for getting through this horrific book with us. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and let us know if you have any suggestions. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.